Hello, everybody out there today. Thank you for joining us for another edition of SPINcast. Today, we've got some very special guests on our panel. We've got some associates here from the Charlotte Venom or Hornet Venom GT. It's the local NBA 2K professional franchise that is a part of the Charlotte Hornets organization as well. And with us today, we have got Brian Trainer, also known as Nacho, Coach Lawrence West, one of the players, Alante Proctor, also known as Gliz, and another player, Gio Elizondo, known as Trap. Good day to all of you. Hope everybody's doing well during these crazy times. But want you guys really talk a little bit about yourself, where you're from originally, kind of how you got to where you are today, and then that'll kind of help us open up into some questions and kind of go from there. So start off with Nacho. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you, and we'll pick it up from there.
So obviously, my name's Nacho. I was from Cincinnati, Ohio. Went to Miami University for college. Stayed local, 10-minute drive from my house. So, I was like, yeah, let's stay close and go to school. Have an art degree in fine art. So, I went to school for painting, which is kind of funny. And then as I, got into the career, so the 2K League announced itself. They announced the combine where you try out and try to make the league. And I was like, I got a slow month here of paintings and commission work. I was like, yeah, let's try it, see if I can make it. And then it ended up happening. I got drafted by Orlando, the player in the league, drafted fourth round in Orlando, just missed playoffs. And then I had to go back into the draft because the team didn't retain me for the next season. I got picked up again by Minnesota, and we won the championship last year. So then 2 seasons, and then I was like, yeah, I already got a ring. I can go out on top. Let me go to the upper management and come down here to the Hornets. I submitted my application and got down here. I'm a marketing manager, operations manager, just trying to make sure all the guys know where we're supposed to be and kind of do the content and the direction overall of how we want to approach ourselves on social and to the media. And that's how we are now.
Awesome. And it's a little bit warmer here than Minnesota, by the way.
Definitely. I remember very distinctly because I kept track. Was the first day it hit 60 degrees was June 2nd. So that was it was from June until very early October. It was warm, and then it just went straight to 30s, 20s, 2 feet of snow.
That's torture. That's torture. Leave the weather up there, but bring some of that ring flavor down here for the Hornets. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Coach West, a little bit about you.
Okay, I like to say, Lawrence West. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Lawrence West, also known as Big West to the community or whatever everybody call him, Big West. That's with 2 G's, BIGGWST. I pretty much, I kind of got my start back in, I say about 5 years ago. Pretty much was a part of which now we consider as the amateur scene. It's MPBA league. It's known as my Player Basketball Association. So kind of help create that and build a platform for all the top players at the time that kind of get everybody under one roof. Because this right around the time where people was playing just a lot of ranked games. You can see them on the leaderboard. One thing everybody wanted to be was number one on the leaderboard. So you look at the leaderboards on NBA 2K, you can see who number one. And if you run into them in traffic, just randomly, you kind of know they number one. You're trying to gun for them. So what we try to do is, kind of simply took the NBA format. And, kind of did 82 game seasons, playoffs and things like that. And we just kind of reached out to everybody that was on those leaderboards and, kind of got them all housed up under one thing and just kind of give them something to compete for, just being the best amongst each other. And it kind of went from there, and the NPBA kind of became a premier league that everybody wanted to play in. Everybody kind of made their name in that league. So we fast forward to 2017 to 18, NBA 2K League. They announced the NBA 2K League. So now, we have an actual professional league to this now. So now in the first season, I say out of the original 102, I think probably about 80 players, came from, that kind of really harnessed their skills in the NPBA and got drafted into the first original 102. So that was a pretty special moment right there.
Nice.
So the first season went by, I kind of was just on the outside, because I coach football, youth football around in the area, Charlotte area, Rockhead area. So I just had like real heavy focus on that. So I kind of watched the league from afar and just supported everybody that I knew. Like a lot of people who I came up with in the ranks, they whether they got jobs for the league or the players playing, just kind of support them from afar. Going into season 2, they had some more expansion teams, like Atlanta was one of them. So they brought me on to kind of be like an analyst and just a kind of do whatever kind of guy, whatever's needed. And I helped build out their team for their 2K League for season 2. I think it was great, great team overall. They just had some shortcomings throughout the season, but I guess that's something to be expected. Kind of I learned a lot in doing that process and putting certain personalities together and things like that. So when this opportunity right here came to kind of to be the coach, as I had a coaching background in a way, and then, just kind of felt building out this team and, bringing players here. And I kind of going into this season, I kind of knew kind of personalities I wanted to bring in, who I felt they can really gel together. So this is where I'm at today.
Great. Seems like a natural fit. That's awesome. Gliz, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm not gonna lie, I knew I was next. I was like, I'm next. I'm joking. But my name is Alante Proctor, I'm from Washington, DC. So before this 2K League, I was working, but I was also planning like local tournaments of gaming, like 2K wise. So I was like, and then when the 2K League came up, I was like, I can make this, And the first year I did not make it. I was like so disappointed because I thought I had the stats and everything. It was just like, I guess you're not good enough this year. So I was like, okay, so I try to work even harder for the next year. So when I made it the next year, I actually got drafted to Utah. I went to the Jazz. I played there. I think I did well. I think I did great, to be honest with you. So that's why I ended up in Charlotte the next year. So I guess Charlotte thought I was a steal in a draft, and they got me and stuff like that. But that's how I got involved in a 2K era.
Awesome. You're here now. Here to stay. Trap, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
All right, my name's Gio Elizondo. Gio short for Giovanni, but everybody just call me Gio. It's a thing that started in high school with my football coach. But I started playing 2K more as a hobby, not as sort of thing just for more fun. Because I've always worked. I do construction work. I'm a medical gas plumber, licensed one in the state of Texas. So that would usually take up most of my time, and this was something I would do, when you're late at night or you ain't got nothing to do. And it kind of turned into another breed of competitiveness, playing at a higher level. I ended up running into some guys, which is the point guard of this team. His name is Alex Wheelan. It goes by Expose Him. I ended up running into him on Twitter, and we met up, and we ended up becoming making a team. Well, they already kind of had a team, but it wasn't really known. It's called Self-Taught. And like Big West is saying about the leaderboards, we ended up becoming number 1 on those leaderboards. We played every day. We started getting better. We were starting to beat some of the better teams. But this was after some of the players got drafted in 2018. The draft already happened. We didn't make it. I didn't really try. I tried for it, but I didn't really know what was going on in the process of what to do, what to look for, so I didn't make it. But then the following year, we came back. We had our team name, our brand, and we competed at the highest level, be it some of these teams. And the process happened again in the second year. Like Gliz, he made it the second year. Nobody on my team but one, the center. He plays for Dallas now for the Mavs Gaming. His name is Pete B. Ballin. He made it. He got in, but none of us made it. So we went to the next year, which is this year, this year's draft. And we started well. We struggled a little bit, but we ended up winning the Minnesota Timberwolves tournament, T-Wolves Gaming. And I won the selection for the automatic bid for the draft out of that tournament. So I didn't have to go through the combine process. I made it through there. And so I automatically got in the combine, and I was drafted by the Hornets. So it's been a cool experience for me. Obviously, it's difficult through the virus situation going on. We're not able to enjoy the city. and see, everything Charlotte's for. But, I mean, I do enjoy my experience, coming from construction. I'm not out in the sun every day. I'm not out there picking up heavy things. And I get to rest a little bit, play games for a living. So change of pace for everything for me.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Well, hopefully for all of our sake, this virus will pass just like everything else. It's just a matter of doing our part, being patient, and we're all in the same boat. But I appreciate all of you joining us today. This question will be more for you, Nacho. Let's start off with NBA 2K versus NBA. Certainly there's going to be a lot of similarities, but some distinct differences as well. In your mind, what are some of the most common similarities and some of the most common differences between the two?
I guess the common threads for similarities would be obviously the competitiveness. This is a professional league. These are people who are practicing their craft 8 to 10 hours a day. And like, obviously that drive is kind of similar to NBA players. Like the player mentality is similar. Watching film, breaking down opponents, and like running drills. Like it's not necessarily as in depth as the NBA, because obviously we only we get the players, they're in market for about a month, and then boom, all of a sudden, hey, we start regular season games where like the NBA, you have players for years, you get to hold on to them for a while. So for here, it was a little different. But another similarity, obviously, is just like the practicing, like coach mentalities. Like I'm sure Wes can talk about it. Is really like it's almost like finding a way to get better on the games. Like we'll watch our film internally, say, hey, Gliz, you got to do this, and this different. Like you got to play the pick and roll higher. Like we use a lot of traditional basketball techniques. But because it's a video game, like for example, like NBA players, if the Hornets have 4 players on their team shooting 40% from 3, Coach JB would love it. But like in our league, you shoot close to 50, 60, maybe even 70% from 3. So like, you got to know how to adjust your game, knowing, you can't leave anybody open. Right. So it's like stuff like that. But some of the differences, obviously, like I would say on the behind the scenes side is, it's a very young demographic. Like it's primarily like 80% of the community is primarily like age 13 to 30 male. Like that's just kind of the makeup of 2K. Like it's one of the biggest selling games in the US every year. But with the NBA, obviously they're trying as far as marketing and presenting yourself, you're trying to cast as wide net as possible. With the Hornets, they want to make sure they can get the young guys, the old grandmas who want to who've been fans for 40 years, anybody they can get a hold of. But with us, like obviously it's such a young demographic, we have to approach things differently. So like, do we focus primarily on streaming? Do we focus on trying to work towards getting partners with Mountain Dew instead of maybe Jiffy Lube, like the tires? Like there's certain things that go into the brand, and there's certain things that go into like the situation here, because also the players are so young too. Like we have 3 players under the age of 21. Wow. So we've got and on top of it, like some of them have never lived away from home. I guarantee you 2 of our players on our team this year has never been outside of their home. They're moving here. We almost got to act as like almost caretakers / parents while they're here. So it's a little different, but there's a lot of similarities. And I know if Wes talked to Coach JB of the Hornets or talked to Pop on the Spurs, there's a lot of similarities in what we do with NBA.
Yeah, no doubt. Speaking of Big West, practice schedules. What's your typical routine? Now, again, we're kind of in a new normal. So obviously the majority of things I would assume you're doing now are online. So let's go backwards a little bit to when prior to the coronavirus, when you guys are able to get together at the Spectrum. Practice-wise, what's your day-to-day routine basically look like?
Okay, like whether we at the Spectrum or here, our practice schedule it's pretty much going to run about the same. As far as physically, it ain't like I could, get the guys up, come in an hour early, run, kind of get in shape. But like, that's not the physical part. Ain't so much, what's a part of our league, Like, so I want to say that's kind of like a primary difference. So it's just like finding time. Like I say, we usually typically start the day off about 11 o'clock and, just start practice. Like we scrim anywhere from between 5 to, I'd say 5 to 10 hours a day. Almost just depend. Like lately I kind of been, kind of easing up on them just because, what's going on. And, I don't really want to necessarily burn them out. But like, it can usually take about that long. Then you throw in time to watch film, and then there's other modes on the game that I'm starting to really dive into. Just where it's kind of be us versus the CPU and just things like that. Just so we can just kind of work on our plays, because like currently the way where we in right now, like I can't have like a practice squad come in, so I can be able to have my practice squad and kind of work on those like different plays and different sets where the rest of the league can't see. So now I'm learning that. Now I'm just trying to take advantage of a practice mode that we have where we can just load up against the CPUs and just kind of, even though the guys are probably bored, don't want to do it, but I think in the long haul it's going to like really help us like kind of get our where we need to be on our floor, just trying to help perfect the plays that we want to run without, giving it away to other teams versus league. Because right now, we're only able to scrimmage against other league teams. Right. And eventually some of the teams we got to play, somewhere throughout the season. So like it's funny you said, I just looked at the schedule yesterday. Like I'm eyeing like the first 6 to 8 teams, like really trying to hope to stay away from doing scrims, because those could be very much so going to be the teams we probably play in the first 2 weeks of the season, just if we're going to do it via online. So it's that, but like I say, but other thing, it's just like real life stuff. Like I guess you could take out the physical part, like far as being in shape, things like that. If they want to be in shape, it's more for recreational purpose than just being fit with their body. Like I always encourage that too, but like it's not something like like real basketball where we have to be in shape. We have to be able to run for 48 minutes on the floor and things like that. So right. So that aspect of it is not there. But as far as everything else, just like the game planning, the practicing, and begins preparation for the game, like when the season do start, obviously watching about 5, 6 to 8 hours worth of film on the other team just to make sure we being prepared for our next game, learning the different player tendencies on the other teams, and just trying to see like what can we use to our advantage. And on the way we're going to get to this by being prepared. And I'm real big on preparation.
Awesome. I'll prepare the other team, puts you in an advantage. No doubt. Gliz, you're more, you've been in the league for a little bit now. Talk about what you like the most. Is it game day? Is it the practices? Is it the camaraderie amongst the team? Probably a little bit of all of that, but what you look forward to the most. And also, I understand that a lot of the events take place, obviously, at the home fields, if you will, of a number of the teams. Like the Spectrum has their spot here. You guys go to New York to play. Talk a little bit about that, too, for the fans.
I like a lot of things from the league, but because actually we actually traveled to Vegas. We went to Vegas, my first time ever going to Vegas. So we had a tournament out in Vegas. We went to Vegas, and then we ended up going to Orlando. I like the traveling. Like I'm not gonna lie. At first, I didn't like planes. It was my first time ever getting on a plane going to Salt Lake City, so it's a long ride. But the traveling is pretty cool. Then everything is like really free. So it's like you basically, it's like the big deal. You feel what I'm saying? So the only thing you really have to pay for is food and your phone bill. Your rent is free and everything. But I like the competition here also because I'm very competitive. Like I said, I used to do local gaming where it's like I can walk the street and people notice me because they're like, oh yeah, that's one of the big guys in our city, like who people like used to bet on and stuff like that to play games. So I love everything about this league, and I want to stay in it for as long as I can. So.
Got it. Good deal. How about for you, Trap? What do you look forward to the most as you begin through this process? This is a new year for you guys to start off. What are you looking forward to?
I was looking forward to us actually traveling to New York. I have never been a part of that. I've never seen New York City. So I wanted to see what, the hype was about. necessarily, but also when you get to play in front of people. I got it in Texas. The Mavs Gaming did a tournament. It's called the Texas Ticket. So we actually got to, it wasn't necessarily the environment that they do in New York for us, but you got to experience a little bit of it. Having the people you play not across from, but they were around us. You can hear them. You can talk a little bit to them. It's a different feel from sitting in your house playing a video game versus when the guys are right there by you. You can see them, hear them, look at them. It's a whole different breed of element to the game that I never seen before. So that was really awesome. But on top of that, like I said, with the virus, I'm not sure we're gonna be able to travel. So we're possibly gonna have to play inside. So that's something, kind of sucks, but it is what it is. But, I'm also looking, there's tournaments that are involved with this game for big money. I'm not sure the actual payout for some of them, but that's what I was really looking forward to. I mean, there's a lot of money. I think it's how much is it, Nacho? Is it a 1 million or 2 million prize pool?
1.4.
1.4 million prize pool that they have for the tournaments, the playoffs, the championship. So you can actually win a lump sum money very fast doing this. So that's what I was looking, had my eyes on the prize, since I got here. That's all I really see.
Gotcha. Hey, Kyle, did you hear that figure? Time for you to break out the remote control, my friend. What is up?
Start going to 2K instead of Siege.
That's right.
Maybe.
That's right. Talking about New York again and the setting there, I was able to see some of the film actually from previous year. You guys get into it. I mean, this isn't I'm just sitting back at home, I hope I win. I mean, you talked a little bit already about competitiveness, Gliz, and stuff like that, but you guys really, really get into it. And certainly the vibe when one team is right next to the other goes through the roof. I mean, that's entertaining versus obviously, unfortunately, we have to do it from home now. But talk about that a little bit. Big West, that's really a question for you. Being able to see those guys compete right next to or right in front of each other, I think certainly puts a whole different level of competitiveness. The trash talk is there. I mean, it's like you're at a basketball game.
Yeah. I mean, and you're right. And all that does plays a big factor. Like, I always like to use the analysis, like, for people who used to, like, back in my day, like, we used to go over each other, over your friend's house, and used to be locked in playing the game for hours. All your friends there. It's smack talking. You don't want to lose, because you want to be known as the best. And, ain't nothing more competitive. You just trying to be better than your friends. And a lot of those guys in the league, they are, like, really, like, friends, But they want to be the best. And obviously they playing for money, too. So that mentally, like, it affects the ones who not used to that kind of environment. It's totally different when you home playing the game. You get frustrated. You can take your headset off. It's quiet in your house, and you can just like literally focus, and that makes you better. But when you're on that stage, you can't take that headset off. You can't just stay focused. You got the other team across from you talking smack to you. Just intimidate you. You're doing things like it's like a shot that you would have taken home. You might not take it there because you don't want to be the one to miss that shot, and everybody looking at you. So like. You do things that you tend to wouldn't normally do when you're on the stage, especially if you're not used to the environment. And then you got the coin flip to it to the guys that's used to that kind of environment. And then, that actually riles them up. It actually makes them better, So it's like, and you feed out the energy of your team, and your whole team can just feel it. So you had that same aspect as you would in real life when you got the crowd cheering you on. It just seems like it's just doing something to you, getting your superpowers, just make you better. So, and that's the same atmosphere that's created by the league, which is something different than other esports. Like, say, the way the league is structured, it actually got them facing each other, right across from each other. If you look at other traditional esports, they like beside each other. So, like, going down, they can just kind of go straight down the line. They don't really like interact with each other too much. But in 2K League, you got that trash talking, they in your face. Looking at you looking nervous. They can see when you're sweating over there. You just looking down. You trying to peek up at them, hoping they don't see you. They see all that, and it's I think that's one of the most unique things about the league and about our esports and the other esports.
No doubt about it. And we're hopeful again that this passes so we can get back to that environment because that's a ton of fun. Let's talk about the NBA League versus the 2K League. In my opinion, 2K is pretty special as it's the only league currently operated by a United States major sports franchise in the NBA. So, Nacho, in your opinion, how does this help grow the brand? How does it help grow the league and your organization?
So the league is kind of obviously the league is going in normal times is going to be operating outside of the NBA season. So the intent of the NBA with the league was, have NBA action going on at all times. So when the NBA season's over, traditional NBA fans, if they want to watch basketball, can go to obviously our league or the WNBA. So kind of the approach for the NBA as far as what the teams and how the teams operate is just trying to reach a new demographic. Like obviously, I've said before, it's a bunch of young people who are interested in video games. Like I'm kind of in the upper end of like the competitive esports. Like right now, 27 is old for esports. That's me. But it's been a big thing over the last 5-10 years, especially last 5 years, where there's serious money, there's serious influence. Because I mean, I'm sure you've done your research, but like for example, the League of Legends finals or final game had more viewership than the NBA finals combined of all the games. So it's just a massive thing internationally, and the NBA wants to build internationally, build traditional fans. Because, for example, let's say we have some diehard Hornets Venom GT fans, and we post about the Hornets. Us associating with the Hornets, we bring their esports people to the NBA, and they bring the NBA to the esports side. It's kind of like a mutual beneficial influence, but it's kind of a different, because obviously it's not something the NBA has done before. Like the G League and the WNBA, it's pretty much as extensions of the NBA. It's like the same kind of overlaying concepts, but here, I mean, it's about as different as a venture the NBA could have done. So building that up, obviously it's in year 3, and we're still working out some of the finer things. It's just like a massive undertaking by the NBA, and it's completely behind. The NBA loves what we do. Gliz talked about it, the competition. I mean, the players play right next to each other. They're yelling. That's something that was unintended. They didn't initially want them to be doing that. They wanted to keep the team sectioned off like other esports, but everyone loved hearing that. So they're like, yeah, let's just embrace it. Let's make that our own.
Yeah. And
it's just been a learning process for a lot of teams, because, it's easily one of the most changing industries. What was working 2 years ago for social, for content, for everything, or for just general how we approach our teams is completely different compared to now. Like the other major esports, like League of Legends teams, like the TSMs, and then they've got nutritionists living with the players, personal trainers, life coaches, mental health coaches, traditional coaches, analytics, this. It's starting to begin the process of taking traditional sports knowledge and then incorporating into here. And that's kind of what the league is starting to approach to. Like Wes, for example, he's a traditional 2K guy. Maybe we get to the point where, we start hiring actual basketball coaches to come in and just think of ideas for the NBA. We might have, maybe a system coach, an off-season, like a scout. You never –
Yeah.
But it's obviously there's a little bit of a different approach. But as far as just general undertaking the NBA, I mean, it's I can tell you, because I've had the luxury of talking to Adam Silver a few times, in New York when he's been because he comes to our games all the time. Mm-hmm. There's nobody more on board this than Adam Silver, and he's somebody who's really pushed for this.
Well, I think they've started off really, really well. I think the concept is fantastic, and I think it'll only continue to grow, which is fantastic. Trap, question for you. Now that the season's getting ready to start online, at least, is there a team that you view as maybe a rival? Or if there's not a necessary rival, is there a team you're looking forward to play because they should be pretty good?
There was a couple of teams because I came up with some players, so I do know them on like a more traditional level, knowing them every day. It was the Wizards. There's a guy on their team, a center named Dave Fry. He's also from Texas, so I do want to play him. Also, there was another guy, but I'm not sure if the schedule's going to change. But from way it was, previously before everything happened, it was a guy on the Kings. His name is Kobe Yusuf. I played with him a lot before. And he's the power forward for Sacramento's team. So I did want to play him. And if there was anybody I do want to play, it's him the most, man. I want to beat him. I don't want to see him winning anytime soon, man. So, but they're not on our schedule. We play them sometimes here and there in scrim. So, I'm like a shark in the water. I'm trying to get a taste of blood on him, man. I don't want to see him winning no time soon, dog.
Gotcha. They're probably afraid to play us. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. Hey, Gliz. Now that everybody kind of plays a little bit. Obviously, Nacho's got the ring. Big West came up with the league before the league. And obviously you and Trap now are in the league. If you had to play one-on-one against these other three gentlemen here, who would win? Who's the best of the four?
You're talking about in the video game or real basketball?
NBA 2K.
Because I can beat them in both. I'm the number one right now. In this video right now, I'm the number one. I'm the number one. Rank match, pro-am, park, whatever. It's me. It's gonna be me.
No, I don't think so. I don't believe that.
I love it. Trap shaking his head still. How about on the court? Who would win on the court?
Me,
real basketball.
I just big body him. He gonna try to outrun me. We gotta put as long as we playing half court, I'm good. Some full court stuff. He gonna outwin me.
I got you. Cool. So now this downtime, I call it downtime. We're all kind of stuck at home. Obviously, your practice schedule is intense. You guys commit a ton of time to your talent with the NBA 2K schedule. When you're not practicing, are there other games that attract you and draw your attention? If so, what are they? Trap.
Me personally, I like story games more or less. Like the God of War franchise. The new one came out, Final Fantasy. I've been streaming a little bit of that one. That's a really good game. I wanted to see there's a new game coming out. It's called The Last of Us 2. That was a really good one, and it got delayed. And there's another game that's coming out also. It comes from I think it's CD Projekt Red. They make The Witcher. It's the Witcher franchise, and those games they're some of the best games I've ever played. So they're coming out with a game called Cyberpunk. Those are the games I tend to, use my downtime in because I can just dive in them, and you can sit there and play for a couple hours. It's something refreshing. Other than sports, because we play sports games a lot. We play, like you said, you hear our practice schedule. We're going sometimes 8 hours, 10-hour days. We're just, we're getting as much as we can on it. And, you can turn it off and dive into something like that, just refreshing on the mind.
Awesome. Gliz, what do you play?
I play a little bit of Madden. I like football a lot, so I'm very into it. So I play in a franchise mode where it's 31 other users. Wow. And we all got our own team, fantasy football-wise. And I play there, and I do that every day. I schedule a game every day from there. And now I started playing Call of Duty. They came out with something called Warzone. It's pretty cool, 150 people. But the difference is I just seen a video this morning, and the dude is using an aimbot. So it's oh, snap, they about to come out with the hacks. And I guess I'm going to chill down on that because I don't want to get mad about losing. But it's only 2 games I play otherwise. So.
Gotcha. Nacho? How about you, Nacho?
Oh, sorry, I had my mic muted. The big one I play is League of Legends. Obviously, I got trapped into it the last 2 weeks. Me and him have had some fun late night sessions of that. Good 5-6 hour grinds out of practice. Teaching him, but I'll play that. I'm playing Valorant currently. Obviously, it's a big beta that came out. I'm not good at PC shooters, so I look pretty bad on that. But the big ones are especially those right now, and then obviously I'm waiting on Cyberpunk. That's a big one coming out, and I'll play I'm pretty eclectic in my taste, so I'll play anything like Mario Tennis, Super Smash. There's really nothing I won't play except for maybe super story driven like walk around games. You know, like I'm not gonna enjoy playing like and horror games because I'm a big chicken. I don't play horror games. I'm not gonna play like Amnesia or Resident Evil because like I'm not gonna sleep for like 3 weeks.
Got it. Big West, how about you, bud?
Oh man, like for the most part, I always been into like different sports games. So it was baseball, football. Nacho actually had me playing FIFA. Like he cheated me on, but just a lot of big sports titles, and I rarely do like anything other. So I try to get into like Call of Duty, but I suck. I can't kill nobody online and things like that. So I like the story mode that I can kind of control. I can put it on easy and I can kill the computer, you know, and actually beat the game. But online, I just suck on there. And then I like another game I like a lot that I didn't think I would like. It's like the Red Dead series. I think Red Dead Redemption series.
Yep.
So like I beat the first one and I got the second one. I'm currently working on it. In my spare time whenever I have it. I ain't had none in a while, but I want to get, since we talked about, I want to get back to it and actually beat that mode of the Red Dead Redemption.
Gotcha. For our community, they obviously are, everyone's at home. We obviously would love to know a little bit more about how we can follow you guys. Obviously, we can go on your website to see the schedule. From a community perspective, what can we do to help support the Venom GT? Nacho?
Well, I know Gliz would say follow his Instagram, but let's not do that. I obviously follow Hornets Venom GT on Twitter. Check out our Twitch channel. That we have a lot of we have some open scrims, and we're currently just got done with our round robin or a tournament, the Spring 16 tournament, is like a fan event. We want to put on a show with 16 teams. We played a best of 3 tournament. Unfortunately, got first rounded in our own tournament. It makes me sad. But it's obviously a preseason showcase. We don't think too highly of that, but obviously on social, that's the biggest way to get interactive with us. And then we retweet our players' content. And then if you happen to like Gio or Gliz, from what you've heard, you can hit them up on social through our channels, the team channels. But yeah, it's that's usually the quickest way. Like through Twitter is number 1, and then I'd say obviously Twitch is number 2.
Awesome. Looking forward to see the season finally start up for you guys, and then kind of go from there. But last quick question for Gliz, Trap. Talking to the students, younger generation that are learning NBA 2K, they like to play it, and now they hear you guys and think, whoa, I can actually make money doing this. What advice would you give them? We'll start with you, Trap.
The advice I can give them is they need to try to hone their craft versus just get on a team that's really good. You can get on a team that's really good, and say if it's you play a certain position and you necessarily only do one skill set. And when you make the league, you're kind of required to do a magnitude of different things. So if they can try the best to hone their skill in every aspect of the game, from passing, from shooting, playing defense, playing a different position than they're normally accustomed to playing. Just get involved in doing almost everything you can to be the best player you can at almost everything. Because when you get in the league, it's so hard to just say, oh, I'm just here to do this and that's it. I'm not a shooter. I'm not a passer. I can just stand here. Or, I'm a point guard, but I can't play center. Or I'm a center that can't do this. You're really expected to do more than what you're used to from being at home. So just try to hone your craft, get in there, make sure that you're the best that you can be at everything you can do in the game.
Awesome. Gliz, what about you? What do you think?
I think you should master like a position. Like master, if you play center, you want to play point guard, master the position. After you do that, try to always outthink your opponents. Because I know we play physically, with the remote control, but this game is it's a lot mentally. You're thinking a lot in this game. You feel what I'm saying? So and also what else can I say about this? Me personally, when I was going for the league, my family members was like, "It's not gonna work" and all that. Always try to stay positive and motivate yourself also, because it's gonna be people that don't even believe in this league, to be honest, because they're a lot older and stuff like that. So another thing, it's more to it. You gotta build friendship, like your social media, like try to like be involved with players that's already in the league now. Try to like build your following base and stuff, because all it's gonna help you out at the end for the 2K league and stuff like that. So that's
Gotcha.
what I say.
Gotcha. Good pieces there. I think one of the most important things you just said, no matter what you are doing, whether it's NBA 2K, if you're into drawing, if you're into wanting to be a doctor, whatever it is, chase your dream. Don't ever doubt yourself. Just chase your dream, no matter who's supporting you or not supporting you. You know, believe in yourself and go after it. So that's awesome. But guys, we're up on it on time. I sincerely, again, appreciate all of you coming on board. Really good to meet the four of you. We look forward to seeing you out there competing. I'm hoping that we can get back to normal a little bit. I'd like to see you guys compete, obviously, together and kind of go from there. We wish you the best of luck. Nacho, you got to help this group bring that ring now. You did it once. We got to do it again.
I want to repeat. I need that second one. You know, I need to flunk that. You know, I'm sure Wes is shaking his head right now because, you know, that ring conversation comes up. You know, you don't like it. But, yeah, man, I can't have them tarnishing, man. I need to go back to back. I need to say I'm the only guy in the league with 2 rings.
There you go. There you go. I think you got a great young group that can do it. We look forward to following it. And hopefully we can connect again down the road a few weeks, just to kind of check in, see how things are going, and go from there.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Best of luck this season. And we'll see you later.
All right, thank you.